Okay, so I bet you're wondering what just happened there. If this were some sort of job interview or important meeting, I wouldn't be seen as a very good speaker or candidate. Now, if you know me, you know I wouldn't actually do that, and I just want you to know that was all staged and set up. Now, my TED Talk today is on first impressions. First impressions are a person's first opinion on you. Studies show that first impressions happen within 6 seconds of meeting. So if you didn't notice, within the first 6 seconds of this TED Talk, I would have been seen as unprofessional and unprepared. First impressions are determined 55% on the way you dress, 38% on the quality of your voice, and 7% on the words you choose to say. I want to know what percentage of first impressions are actually correct. When I was growing up, I was always considered a shy person. I never really was said to be someone who was vocal or very outgoing and confident. I think that's a very inaccurate description of me. Starting from about the 7th grade, I considered myself to have came out of my shell already, and my question was, why do people still view me as shy and introverted? That all has to do with first impressions. First impressions matter in every situation. You're always going to be meeting somebody new, somebody you've never seen before. When I walk in to school on the first day of school, I can't come into the classroom and communicate or interact with everyone in the room, mainly because I get anxiety. I don't know how I'm going to come off to people, and so my first impression is seen as shy. There's a study called the primacy effect, which is where researchers studied that when you're given a list of things, you're more likely to remember the things at the beginning rather than the things in the middle. So when you make a first impression, somebody's more likely to remember what you first did rather than the little moments in between. But you also have to take into consideration that there's another study called the recency effect, where people are more likely to remember the things at the end of a list rather than the middle. So once you go through a series of moments with a person, by the time they get down to, say, 30, they'll start considering something different about you based off what you just did. These 4 people, J.K. Rowling, Abraham Lincoln, Sir Isaac Newton, and Albert Einstein, are people who, in history, have been found to be more introverted, considered themselves more reserved, and kept to themselves. Yet we know them, we know their faces when we see them. Why? Well, these are people who believed in what they were trying to say and were passionate about what they were trying to do, and when they met with new people and had to deliver their work or what they were trying to come across as to groups of people, they made good first impressions. They were shown to be confident because they really did believe in what they were trying to do. First impressions last. That is another reason why first impressions are so important. When you go into a college interview or a job interview, they're going to remember what you did in that room that day. So if you go into the room and make a bad first impression, like what I did at the beginning of this TED Talk, you're not going to get into the school you want to get into. You're not going to get the job you want to get. Somebody else who made a good first impression and came off as professional is going to get that job over you. First impressions are everything. So I want to take you through some steps that are going to help you make your best first impression, even if you don't think yours is going to be correct. Always come in confident. Don't change I can to I can, and just walk into a room, say hello to everyone you meet, say their name, act respectful, be professional. Show your true colors. Everyone has their own unique aspect, and when you go into an interview, if you act unique, if you act like yourself, they'll say, oh, I've never seen somebody like this before. I've never heard somebody do this before. You're going to be more likely to be chosen over somebody else who's trying to act the same as somebody before them. Be professional. Walk into a job interview or a college interview wearing professional clothes, using the correct grammar, trying your best to come off as professional as possible. And be yourself. Like I said, being unique when going into a situation is more likely to get you a job because you're all unique, and you don't have the same traits as somebody before you, and just be yourself. The quote I leave you with today is, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So my question, what will yours be? Thank you.